So disaster struck the Soil Cycling Collective project a couple weekends ago. It wasn't really a disaster, but this GoPro completely failed. Like, I just got this from my good friend Ryan Thompson. I know he wouldn't sell me any junk, but Ryan, your GoPro, it failed, and it corrupted all the data. I've never had this happen. I have been filming and creating photos and videos digitally, and I've never had an SD card corrupt before. So thanks GoPro, appreciate it. Hero 9 failed. Just recorded the 2 coolest races I've ever done, and the GoPro failed. So anyway, I'll give you a quick race report. So this was at Worldwide Technology Raceway, which is close to St. Louis. It's a big NASCAR facility, very, very nice facility, and it's really cool to get to do a race there, because a bicycle race, because I mean, how many people get to actually go hang out on an actual like NASCAR, IndyCar racetrack? And it's phenomenal. Big Shark Cycling puts this on. They do a really nice job. It's a USAC race for Criterium. It is expensive. I mean, it's costs way more than it's really probably worth to do, but that's just, I guess that's just the way the sport is. So I'm going to give you kind of a quick kind of rundown of how the day went for me and Rob and Justin, who are the other racers in the Soil Cycling Collective, the actual good racers in the Soil Cycling Collective. And then I'll talk about my bike choice a little bit and wrap it up. So, okay. Did the Cat 4.5. My friend Justin Pohl, who is way, way, way better than me, was also in the Cat 4.5. Kind of ticked me off, but anyway, it's good to have him in there because he was taking it pretty easy, kind of warming up for the Cat 4. We had one young man from Lindenwood Cycling who was really, really strong in this race, and then some other guys that were really strong too. And it was a very controlled race. Like, some people kept going off the front, and it was like we rode just hard enough to keep them in sight, and it was really safe. It was really clean. There was about, I think, 18 people in this race. I have done this race once before in 2021. It was the year after COVID, and it was huge crowds, like 65, 70 people in the Cat 4.5, and I got dropped like 20 minutes into the race. It was my second crit, didn't really know what I was doing. Probably am a little fitter now, but also I think I was better prepared, and also I think I know a little bit about how to ride a crit, and I was just on a really good day. So I rode really well in this race. Now, Justin told me, he was like, I was really surprised to see you like 20 minutes in. I usually get dropped in our practice crit, and 20 minutes in, I was just sitting in, I was comfortable, I wasn't really breathing that hard. I'd never really come close to getting dropped. I'd actually pulled on the front a couple times. So I was basically finding it very easy to just sort of set at the back, and then in corners, when I come through, big guy like me, I've always got more momentum. It just seems like I always have the momentum. We hit the headwind or whatever, I got the momentum. I sometimes found that I was just like kind of rolling through the field. Like, instead of like braking and holding positions, I would just kind of like, just kind of roll through the field. I know I scared one guy at one time. He's like, whoa, hello, because I came up right beside him and just rolled right by him. But I found that I was able to, a couple times though, that did me wrong because I went off the front. And at the end of the race, I thought we were getting ready to take like a big last lap, just like full on, go, 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 So I was ready to slam it for the last lap. And we did slam it for about a quarter of the lap. And then everybody slowed down, I think. And I just rolled right off the front. Like, I didn't, again, I didn't touch the brakes. I had a lot of momentum. And I just rolled right through the pack, rolled off the front, and then I looked back and I had quite a bit of separation. So I was like, my brain was saying, this is probably a mistake, but you might as well keep it going. And so I rode about another quarter of the lap, more or less, third of the lap, off the front, and, quickly blew up because I was probably going 23, 24, and they caught me pretty easy, rolled right past me. I was really gassed because I had just gassed myself trying to stay off the front, but I went as hard as I could and hung on for 8th place, which I was very happy with. If I hadn't done that ridiculous roll off the front move, if I'd stayed in the pack, I probably could have got more like 4th or 5th or 6th, I think, in that race. Okay, so that was my first race. Justin got second. He got second. He sprinted the Lindenwood kid and got second, and was very close. So Rob was doing the Masters races. He did 2 Masters races. Rob didn't really have a great day. He was racing more for the team. He did some pulling back and some attacking and just working for the team. So Rob's results were really not a lot to talk about. I'm not sure how he finished. I know the second race he did, he kind of pulled out pretty early. He wasn't really feeling it. First race, I think he kind of finished mid-pack. So anyway, Rob was there supporting us, which was awesome. That was really cool. It felt like being on a team, you know. So I did a second race, and this was the old man 4.5, 40 plus 4.5. It's really cool to have a 40 plus 4.5. This race went really well for me. I just kind of hung in the pack. Again, didn't really do a lot of pulling, played it really safe, and just set up perfectly, come in and sprinted for third. But you know how these categories are kind of meaningless. I didn't really get third. I got fifth, and let me explain why I got fifth. I mean, I did not get third. I say I sprinted for third out of the pack, but these categories and these crits, I mean, whatever. It really doesn't hardly make a difference, especially on the beginner levels. And when you get up higher, I think it definitely does. But because, like, take for instance this 4.5 race I was in, there was a guy there racing for Team Mac. I think his name's Terry. But Rob told me he is a world champion. He was either national or world champion stair climber. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. But he definitely didn't want to be. I know he tried to get catted up to 3 so he could get out of these races, because he said he just hadn't bike raced before and just really got into racing recently. On the start line, we take off. I had a great start. I got clipped in. I was like third wheel, I think, or something on the start line of this Cat 4.5 40 plus race. And I remember watching a guy just roll off the front, and I thought, what a goofy attack. Like, you're going to ride off the front right now. But by the end of like past the first corner, like in 30 seconds, you couldn't even see. He was gone. And I mean, you can see long ways across this racetrack. He was gone. He took a guy with him. So 2 guys right off the front. We didn't really even try to chase him down because, like I said, they were gone. Somebody's like, they're already on the other side of the track. They were way, way over there. And so I don't know what that guy's average pace was, but the guy who went with him couldn't hold his wheel, and he got dropped pretty quick from the 2. But the guy who took off by himself, the stair climbing champion, he lapped us. He lapped us on the last, like before the last lap, I think, somewhere in there. So he was way off the front. The guy who went with him averaged about the same pace that we did by himself, so he was a way stronger rider than us too. But still, I don't know at what point he got dropped from that leader, but I don't think he probably did a lot of pulling with him. And so he got second, basically, for doing a time trial, which is awesome. He's a super strong rider. So then in my group, there was a guy who just, you could look at him. He looked different from the rest of us. He just looked like, like an athlete. And he didn't look like an old guy. And he went off the front. Or he sprinted in that, like he was gone. He sprinted he went around me before I even got my sprint going. So I was sprinting against the guy beside me, and I went all out. I should have had him, would have got me 4th for the day instead of 5th, but I just didn't have enough. So that leads me to my second topic, which is talking bikes. Because the GoPro died and I don't have any video, but there was a topic I kind of wanted to cover that kind of goes along with this. Really, all winter and this spring, I've been kind of obsessing in the back of my mind, over buying a new bike. I don't need a new bike because the 2 bikes I have are working fine. I rode this Cannondale CAD 9 in the race. I don't think I've ever actually raced this bike. I've had it for a very, very long time. It's a really excellent race bike. It's, race bike geometry. It's aluminum, so I don't have to worry about, like breaking it if I crash in a crit or something. And it's only a 2008 bike, so it's only, 16 years old now or something. It's a pretty old bike. And my tarmac, which I raced the last time I raced there, was it's a 2000, I think 12 tarmac SL1 or SL2 or something. So both of my bikes are really old. I don't have disc brakes. I can't fit bigger tires. They don't have any like aero advantage or any of that kind of stuff. No electric shifting. I have updated them both to 11-speed drivetrains. I'm running 105 11-speed, which I think is fantastic. I love it. So no real need to upgrade. I did upgrade wheels recently, well, last year, and I ran these on the tarmac last year. These are the ICANN FL50s, and so ran into a problem with the tarmac. They don't really fit. They're too narrow. The tarmac's too narrow. These are too wide. They kind of gap out in the aero fairing part. So I put a 28 on the back. It will hold a 28, the CAD 9 on the back. The front fork, no way. You're stuck with 25. But yeah, so ran into a problem though with this bike. If I sprint hard enough, the wheels are so wide that they hit the brakes. And you can put the brakes as loose as possible and it still hits the brake. It might be rubbing the frame just a tiny bit when I sprint. I don't think it is though. I think it was all brakes. I had the brakes so loose that, you know, like I couldn't really run them any looser. And, you know, so anyway, the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't really think equipment is that important. But now I'm thinking I lost that fourth place. Like, who gives a crap? Cat 4.5, fourth place. But still, I went and did a race on a very, very old bike. I wasn't the oldest bike there. There was a guy on a steel Eddie Merckx bike, but he had updated all the components and the wheels to really nice stuff. But it was cool to see an old, you know, steel frame with sweet wheels and everything. And that guy was a strong rider too. I drafted off him for a while. But yeah, for the most part, I probably had one of the oldest bikes there. Very few of us didn't have disc, you know, brakes. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, if I'd had one more advantage, like if I'd had a more aero jersey, and if I'd had maybe a more aero helmet, if I had aero socks, the aero socks were rocking. I had the aero socks, but if I'd had, you know, one more thing, if I'd had a newer, more aero bike, you know, if my wheels weren't rubbing, if my tires weren't rubbing when I sprinted, I probably could have got that extra like 2 inches I needed to get fourth. So does that kind of thing, not having, you know, the up-to-date, the best equipment, it's always sitting there with you. I don't think it would have mattered. I keep telling myself it probably wouldn't even made a difference, but I don't know that. You know, I wouldn't know that until I tried it. So anyway, really good time. They have a Worldwide Technology Raceway Autumn Criterium, which I've never been to. I think it's in September. So great time. The only thing that make it better is if they could get that price down, because the one-day license, the fees, the entry fee, it's too expensive for one, you know, for what it is. But yeah, getting ready. The next stop on the race series here this is actually on the Soil Grand Prix, so I'm pretty excited about it. In a couple days, I'm going to be doing the Glen Vegas Gambler at Lake Glendale. It's going to be fantastic, and if you watch this before that race, there's only one person signed up for beginner. Most people have signed up for sport and expert. There's only one person in beginner. So if you want to podium your mountain bike race, if you've been thinking about it, I think you could podium and probably ride pretty casual right now. So pretty good turnout for sport and expert though. And it's a great mountain bike race, good time. Hope you can get out there and join us for another Soil Cycling Collective event. See ya.